You know what's funny is that I hear people say that. I hear you say that. I hear Bob say that. I hear even Chad say that now. I hear everyone say, oh, we just want to have fun. But at the time I was going on your show was the time that Chad was doing his doxing and family stuff at me and showing my house and shit
you
like
mean
that.
you mean he had no? He's still doing it, just not to you.
Right, he's still doing that.
Now it's the potato.
Right, but I mean, he did it to me, and I came on your show, and this was right after I said what you just said. I go, do we do a fun fucking morning show where we might occasionally bust on someone's podcast once in a while, but I ain't in this to dox people and go to families and shit like that. And one of the biggest things that Joe and these other people wanted you to hit me on is, oh, Aaron says he just wants to have fun. Oh, how gay is that? And I love sitting back now and watching a couple months later, everyone else go, hey, this is getting a little too toxic. I just want to have fun. And I'm like, that's funny. The guy who did the fun thing first, he was a homo, he was gay, but now everybody else realizes, oh, this Chad guy's a piece of shit. Oh, these people are doing some doxing shit. That's kind of gay. We just want to have fun. So I will say this: better late than never is what I'll say.
I will say this, and truly, not like they don't dox people.
No,
like
no,
nobody over there does that. Like they are, we are having fun over there for the most part. I mean, yeah, sometimes I get frustrated when there's stories about me. It's like, come on, you know that's not the truth. What are you doing? But yeah, it is having fun. They're not doxing. I think there's just one guy that we know that's doxing people.
Yeah. And arguably two, but I mean, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it. But now that kind of dovetails nicely into Chad. Chad, the one and only mud shark, Chad Zumock, who where do you start? Have you ever met, because you know him longer than most people because you guys were both in Ohio. Right. Have you ever met or known anyone quite like this guy?
No, you know what's weird is he's detaching himself more from what the guy I used to know. Like there were signs of this, I think, when he lost the radio gig.
Yeah.
And I mean, now you see all like the breadcrumbs from what happened in Cleveland, which I didn't even know the details of, but I would hear from other people in Cleveland. And like now where it is like this, like I was at I did a corporate show for Bridgestone Tires, and a guy I went to high school with was there, and he's like, a buddy of mine's a comedian, used to be, and like talking about Chad. I didn't trash Chad. I go, oh, he's in Florida, he's doing well. And then the other night I went to the Cure concert, and there's a guy that I was in corporate seats. A buddy of mine just happened to have some seats there, and one guy there that's like one of his buddies like knew Chad because he used to do read their stuff on the radio or whatever. And I texted, I'm probably blocked on his phone, but I texted Chad, the guy's name. I said, oh, he's doing well. Like, what am I going to say? No, well, he gets beat up mysteriously every couple weeks. He just shows up at hospitals. His weird GoFundMes he sets up for strangers that no one hears of. He podcasts with his fucking army helmet on. And
he calls himself a mud shark.
Yeah. And well, it's like, what am I going to say? Like, I'm like, nah, he's doing all right. He's in Florida.
Yeah.
Like, I never trash him.
Right.
I never trash him. I always like, no, he's in Florida. He's doing well. If they looked on the internet for a second, saw this guy flipping out in hotel rooms. Oh, he's got a viral video of calling women the C words. You didn't see this? No, he's like 50 pounds heavier than what you remember him. But yeah, he's doing well. Like I'm like, no, he's doing good.
Yeah.
And like, hey, he's a good guy. He's doing fine. He's in Florida. I'm not trashing the guy. Like a stranger.
But isn't that the difference between all the rest of us who are doing these podcasts, with the exception of maybe Kevin, because Kevin does get heated. But isn't that the exception or the difference between you, Shuli, Bob, myself, April, all of us who like do a show and then go do life stuff. Like we go do a life. Chad is convinced that this is the be all end all, that this is it. Because what you just did at that concert where you go, I just tell people he's doing well, because you know that if you start explaining all this shit,
I'm gonna
with
look
Chad,
like the idiot.
You're gonna look like a fucking asshole. They're gonna go, Ray DeVito's out of his fucking mind, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas,
like, no way he's doing this.
Yeah. Whereas Chad doesn't have that awareness in his brain. He takes the internet with him everywhere he goes. He throws chairs in hotel rooms. You know that if people asked him about Ray DeVito, they'd go, he has a YouTube show, and there was a pink blanket, and there was this, and there was that. Yeah. And Chad doesn't understand that when you start telling people about internet shit in the real world people go, aren't you 48 years old? Like, isn't this fucking insane what you're talking about? So you're right. You got to keep that internet shit on the internet so you can go live a real life. Because if you start blurring the lines like Chad does, I think he's a cautionary tale. I think anybody can drive themselves that nuts if they invest in it that heavily.
And I don't know how he's going to dial it back. Like, where do you go from here? Like, comedians have seen that. Like, and I quit tweeting about him, and like, because I put up one tweet once when he tried to get me off booted off MLC and off the Shuli Network, where I kind of went into him, and then like I just happened to be in New York the next week, and like comics are asking me like, what's going on with, like, because they're watching from afar, and like this all Chad has now. Like, if you look at his Twitter, everything is these tweets.
Before he deletes them.
I can't see them. I'm blocked. But you know what I mean? Like, they're all off the rails. Like, people ask me sometimes, like, hey, you're friends with Chad. What's going on? And it's like I'm talking about comics that see his tweets. And it's like, how do you go backwards from here? Like, how do you dial it back?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like, what? Oh, okay, let's each give our answer. Let's put ourselves in Chad's shoes. Let's try to be Chad Zumock, and let's try to better him. And let's try to, how do we dial this back? I think the only way you dial it back is you either reach out and apologize to some of these people you've done this shit to, and then try to go on and tell your audience that you're changing your content. You're going to do more of like a radio show where a talk show, things like that. Or I think you just got to walk away from the internet altogether.
He's never walking away from.
Right.
He likes the attention. Like, I think that's what happened is he got so, like, he got that radio gig, and he was like a local celebrity in Cleveland. I mean, I've said that before. Like, he really was. Like, he was the radio guy, and he got like to hang out with like Kyrie Irving and Cleveland Browns players, and like, because MMS, every time there was a concert in town, he got to like be backstage and meet Primus and stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, he got there. So he never, like, the job left him, but he never left the job. He still thinks he's that guy. And it's like he never like allowed the separation to happen. Yeah. So he still thinks he's that guy. And to some people, it's entertaining watching from the outside. Like, oh, look at this guy unravel. But
that's just it. That's just it too. You just hit the nail on the head. Like, when I had to walk away from radio because we got in trouble, I knew that this was a step down. I knew that I had to kind of humble myself and work hard to rebuild a new audience. Whereas he just kind of thought that this is all a continuation and any attention is good attention. But you just nailed it. He thinks that he has fans. And what you just said, people are watching him to see him melt down. And that's not healthy for a guy like him who doesn't know the difference.
Yeah, I don't know where he goes. Like, even when he had his problems with people in Cleveland, I would ask him like, "Hey, dude, what's going on?" And he's like, "Nah, they're just, they're just jealous of this or that." I was like, "All right, whatever." I didn't pay much attention to it. And then when I was the guy, because what happened with me and him, we were fine. And then the second him and Kevin had that first divorce, and I still did Kevin's show. Yeah. And then I was that guy that he would just shit on. And it's like, wow. I would see him being unhinged. I'm like, oh, he can be that guy. And now he's not even doing it behind the scenes. He's showing it to the whole world. Like, oh yeah, I can be unhinged. Here it is.
Like, he's threatening, like, Cardiff Electric, who does, if people don't know, Cardiff Electric does a show as a potato, a cartoon potato. And Chad is the only one who takes the cartoon potato gimmick seriously. He is
That's like being mad at George Jetson.
Exactly. Or the dog, it's like Astro, getting mad at Astro. So Chad is now threatening to dox the potato and tell everyone who the guy behind the potato is, which is insanity to me. And while that may impact Cardiff and that may be a shitty thing to do to him, it also takes Chad further away from any kind of redemption and breaks him even further. Like, Chad's one of those guys who every time he attacks, he wears down a little bit of himself, and I don't think he's seen it yet. And I think exploding at the corn during an interview and yelling at the piece of corn, and
wouldn't that be hilarious if the corn turned into popcorn and
just started popping. Yeah. And then now he's threatening to nuke the potato, and it goes back to what you said. How do you go back from threatening to dox the potato?
Well, here's the one thing. First of all, I obviously hope he does not dox him. He's a decent. He does something decent and doesn't do that. Yeah. But all right, but let's say like Cardiff is not an asshole online.
No.
So if his identity did get out there or something, it's not like he's got something to be embarrassed about.
Right.
If that, but still, no, you should not dox him. Let him have his personal life. But it's not like he's Chad doing horrible things. He's just making silly songs and stuff.
Right.
Like, he's not doing that. So it's like, who's we got to get him. We got to stop him. What's he doing that's so shitty? What did he do that was so shitty to you, Chad?
But that's the thing about all of us, whether it's you, Carl, me, you could even argue Kevin, Bob. All the rest of us have ever done is make fun of the content that he does. We watch what he does and react to what he does. And then he goes, oh, these people are ganging up on me. I'm going to show where their fucking house is. And then he'll always say, Steel Toe started it. And I'll be like, started what? I played your show and I said, this guy sucks. And he went, oh, yeah, here's your kids. Here's your house. Look, everybody. And I'm like, does he not, like, the fact that he doesn't grasp that Cardiff, you, Carl, me, he doesn't understand that there's a difference. And this speaks to that internet life versus real life thing. He doesn't understand that making fun of someone's content is not the same as telling people where someone lives and exposing their family. I don't think, people are like, oh, he plays dirty. I don't think he knows he's playing dirty. I think he sees these things as the same thing.
Yeah, and the fact that, like, he did call and try, like, it was proven that he did try to call and get that show in Orlando shut down.
Yes.
He did try and get that show in Rochester shut down. Like, and now he's threatening to go to, but obviously he's not going. Like, now he built up this thing where he's like, listen, I'm going to lie. So
yeah,
like, that's somehow like I think he's going to your thing? No, but here's where I do think he's going to lose, because there are people in the Dabbleverse that are like, oh yeah, we're going to go to, I think they're going to go and they're going to go and they're going to have fun. It's going to be a fun time if they go.
Yeah. But
like, they were going because they like, Chad's going to, I'm going to get some viral videos. If he shows up in Atlantic City, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. It's like, hey, Chad.
That's just it. You're going to spend thousands of dollars potentially that I don't know if he has it or not. And I'm like you. He's lying. He's not doing any of this stuff. But let's say he does. Let's play this. Chad never plays anything out. He just he's like a goldfish. He just kind of swims, Let's play it out, Chad.
Not enough. Have you seen how much weight he's put on in that video of him calling women the C word?
Fair enough. He's a grouper or a halibut. Fair enough. But he's got the brain of a fish where he just kind of starts swimming. He doesn't have a plan. If he does Atlantic City or he does the anniversary party, he's going to spend thousands of dollars. And if he acts like an asshole, people are just going to remove him from those events. So you're going to he doesn't think of the end game. You're going to spend a shitload of money. You're going to harm yourself financially. And in the end, even if you make videos, it's going to be videos of people not wanting you there. I really don't know where the victory is in that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think he's going. And he can go to Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Maybe he might, because he says he's going to New York City. That's
okay,
fine.
That's if you believe he's going to New York City, though, also.
I mean, he knows Florentine. He'll probably stay with Florentine or something. Like, I could see him. Again, and I think Florentine's getting the version of Chad that I would always get. where he would tell me like problems he'd have with people, and I'm like, all right, well, all right, they're probably exaggerating. But I think Florentine could see it in real time. Like, he sees the tweet. But notice all his beefs, like why he doesn't like Levy, why he doesn't like me, why he doesn't like Kevin, why he doesn't like you, why he doesn't like Shuley. Like, there are 5 different reasons.
Yeah.
It's not like the one reason. He's given everyone different reasons.
Right. What's the saying? If you meet an asshole, you met an asshole. If everyone you meet is an asshole, you're an asshole.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all different reasons why everyone is
an asshole.
Yeah.
Exactly.